Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. Today I am just doing a quick video on the gloomy weather and to give you like an idea of what a rainy day looks like here in Saint John, New Brunswick. There have been a few questions that I've seen of people maybe thinking of moving here that are like, hey, how bad is the rain and things like that. So this is just like a typical rainy day for October. Right now it's pretty mild and it's kind of on and off. I will take you guys for a bit of a drive. Keep in mind today is Thanksgiving Monday, so everything is closed. I'm just in the Costco parking lot in Saint John. This is definitely not the norm for Costco. Normally it's backed up here, and my husband and I moved here maybe like, what was it? Oh gosh, 2 years ago now. And when I first moved here, you can come here during the week, anytime, like early afternoon, and it wouldn't be too bad. That was kind of like the hack if you had a day off during the week, to come around 1 o'clock. Now it's it doesn't matter what day or time you come, it's always packed. It's always busy. So yeah, that's definitely not an accurate representation. So if you're looking to kind of get an idea of traffic and things like that, today is also not the norm example for that. So don't pay attention to that. But I will be doing a separate video of just during the week, giving you an idea of what it's like during the day, what it's like during rush hour. We're both from Toronto, so anything is better than Toronto traffic and GTA traffic, really. So, I mean, that's just that. There's nothing that could happen here that's, atrocious enough for us to be like, oh my gosh, the traffic is insane. And I'm actually pretty surprised that there are as many cars on the road right now, for a holiday where literally everything is closed. So that is one thing to keep in mind if you're coming from Toronto specifically. Days like today, there would still be some things that are open, and here it's very, very, very unlikely that things are open. Like, okay, you can still go to your Timmy's, you can go to, I believe Shoppers is open today, but not like normal hours. They'd be closing a lot sooner. I think they're only open till like 5 today or something like that, which is not the norm for a Shoppers in Toronto. Like the one in Toronto, you could probably on a day like today still find something that is open to at least midnight or 24 hours, right? So that's one thing to keep in mind if you are thinking of moving out here is, you have to just plan your shopping and your grocery trips and things like that. The only thing that I do have that's open 24 hours here in Saint John is a Circle K. So if you think that what you need can be found at a Circle K, it's fine. But in terms of like medication and like certain groceries and things like that, you do have to plan a little bit more than you would have in Toronto, because in Toronto you can find your Sobeys, that's 24 hours. We do have Sobeys here as well. It's not 24 hours. In fact, I don't think we have any grocery store that is open 24 hours. So back to the weather. Again, like, of course, right when I started the video, the rain kind of stopped. But we do get a lot of rain starting in July, because hurricane season is when it starts in July. So that's kind of when you would start to see a lot of gloomy days, a lot of rain. Last year, we got a lot more rain than we did today, or this year. Like, this is the first month out of this year that we've seen really bad weather in terms of rain and gloominess and cold, which is pretty normal for October if you're from Ontario. But here it would start a little sooner. You would start to see this in July. You would start to see really high winds in July. If you watch my previous video about the move, I did mention my husband and I did lose about 23 shingles last year during hurricane season, and I think that happened in September. So yeah, that is something to keep in mind. But the worst of the weather that we've seen is just high winds and high rain. In terms of snow in the winter, I haven't really seen anything atrocious, nothing that's worse than Ontario thus far. But last year was our first winter here, and it was kind of an off winter for everybody. Like, I had people, back home in Toronto say, oh my gosh, we barely had any snow this year. That was nice. So I think that was just kind of across Canada was an off winter for everybody. So yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to get on the highway. I'm just coming from East Saint John, which is where all your shopping and things are. I will be making another video on shopping specifically, just kind of going to all the different options that you have. You can kind of see, whether I'm coming from the west end or the east end. You'll see like how long it would take you to do your errands on a normal day where there's a little bit of traffic, or more than today anyway. So we're just gonna head over to the west end. I can show you a nice little spot, which is Irving Nature Park. It's a very popular park. And it's kind of unfortunate because I would much rather go there on a nicer day than today, because it is absolutely beautiful when the skies are clear and it's not raining. But it'll still be a nice little quick spot to show you as well, just to kind of give you an idea of just like the nice scenery that you have everywhere around you in Saint John. And that is both whether you're on the west side or the east side. The west side, you have a little bit more of like the ocean, like the Bay of Fundy scenery and views. It still does exist on the east end as well, or if you go to like Quispamsis or Rothsay. So here is where you would normally start to get a little bit more traffic, which is just the bridge heading over to the west side. Again, today there's not much because it's a holiday. And they're also doing construction here. You would get at least access to a couple more lanes than you see here right now. Sorry for the shakiness while I'm driving through here, and you can't really tell from where like my camera on my phone is right now, but just to the left of me and to the right, there's really, really nice views of the Bay of Fundy. We're driving right over the Bay of Fundy right now, which is pretty cool. Just to my left, there are cruise ships parked there, which is super nice as well. So that is definitely a plus of moving here, is you just have really nice views all around you. And honestly, it does not get old. I've been here 2 years. Whether the weather is nice or not nice or gloomy, it's beautiful no matter what, right? So the one thing I will say that I've noticed from last year was I definitely got a lot more gloomy days that I'm used to from Ontario, because it starts pretty early because of hurricane season. But again, that was last year, and this year was completely different. We didn't start to see this till October this year, so that was nice. You got to take advantage of the really nice weather. The other thing to keep in mind is there is a little bit of fog today, but normally it is a lot thicker. You can barely see. If you're from the city, I was definitely not used to it. I'm used to it now and have no problems driving through it even at night. But today is nowhere near as foggy as it can get out here. And that would also start in July as well. So that can be a little depressing. Like I find it kind of cool. You know, like sometimes you can see the fog rolling in and it's kind of nice if you're like a nature person. But for others, it can be pretty depressing, right? If it's always foggy and rainy. Which again, like I think for 2 months straight, like July, August was just fog. Fog, rain, wind. Like it was pretty miserable out for a couple months. Minus maybe 1 or 2 days out of the week where you kind of got a nicer view. Or, you know, nicer weather and you can actually take advantage of the beach. The other thing to note while we're on weather is the summers don't get very hot. The hottest it usually gets out here is 25. So a lot of people think like, oh, it'd be great to live by the ocean and like go swimming and whatever. But I'm a beach bum myself. I love going to the beach, but I will not go in the water very often because it's like the Atlantic Ocean is so cold. Even on the hottest day, it's so cold. I see a lot of kids in there. I don't see a lot of the adults in there. So for kids, they're like, oh, cool, whatever. You know, your body does adjust. So that's that. I guess that's kind of just personal preference, but I don't see many people swimming. The other reason for that being it is the Bay of Fundy. We do have the highest tides in the world. So you really do have to be careful at high tide and low tide and, you know, just being aware of when's the best time to go. If you have dogs, you do have to be aware. We do have the Saint John River as well. There's another beach not too far from the west side as well, where there's a lot of algae that builds up on the Saint John River. So if you have dogs, you have to just be careful. Look out for that because, you know, dogs have gone really ill, have even passed away because of it. So you just have to be mindful of that as well. So this is a nice other little area with some shopping. To my right here, you can see Sobeys, plenty of gas stations. I think this is like the first Sobeys gas station I've ever seen as well. I didn't even know Sobeys had a gas station. Yeah, Canadian Tire. So this is a very convenient area as well. To my left, you have Subway. You have a couple little restaurants. You have the Royal Bank. To my right here again, you have an Irving gas station. You have your Circle K. Just down this road here is Home Hardware. There's your Burger King. You have Starbucks ahead of me. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys noticed it, but on my right side there was a quick little sign indicating the Irving Nature Park is just ahead. So we're not far at all. So one thing to note as well is we do have a pulp mill and an oil refinery. So right now on the west side of Saint John, where I'm at now, I can smell the pulp mill. It kind of just smells like sulfur. That's the only way I could describe it. It smells like sulfur, and it's pretty potent right now. And I have all my windows closed in the car. So it definitely is pretty strong. So if you're thinking of moving to the west side, definitely be mindful of that. The other thing with Saint John is we are a port city. So there's a lot of neighborhoods like this that are very nice, very quiet. However, you're surrounded by train tracks a lot of the time, and they do go at like 1 or 2 in the morning. I kind of tune it out. And that's whether you're on the west side, on the east side of Saint John. Of course, there is the areas that you can be further away from it, but doesn't matter where you go, you're going to be fairly close or in and around a train. And the other thing with that system out here is that in Ontario we have barriers, right? So they wouldn't let you pass through when the train is coming physically. Here, we don't have any barriers. It's wide open. There's nothing that drops down to stop you from going through. You just have to pay attention with the light, and the train's protocol is to honk their horn way in advance the whole time that they're passing through. So that's how it can get pretty annoying, right? Like, it's not just like a 1 or 2 honk. It's like they're honking the entirety of them passing through an intersection, and way in advance as well, to give you a heads up. So this is a really nice little area that we're heading to. One of these yellow trucks here, that is a Irving worker. That's their work trucks. There's a cemetery to my left. Just past the cemetery, there's a really nice water view as well. So we are getting closer to the Irving Nature Park, which once we get there, I do have kind of a funny story, / terrifying story of what happened to me just last night. Because I do love this spot. I come here quite often. It's just really, really peaceful. So when you're driving along here, it's not a dirt road, but you're surrounded by field, and you can't really see because of me driving and my front facing camera. But to the left of me is all field. To my left, if you were to drive through this first side road here, there's like a little fenced area of a really, really nice view of Saint John as well. So if you wanted to get a photo of the city, that's where you would get a pretty nice photo. And you can already see, so me just coming down this hill, that's the Bay of Fundy in front of me. It may be hard to see because normally on a really nice day you would see blue water. It's all gray today, October. But if you're a fall girl like me, you'll appreciate the fall colors. There's not too many yet. We're still a little bit early for Saint John, but I'm sure you noticed even on the highway there was a few. So yeah, this is Irving Nature Park, and let me see if I can park. We can park at a really nice spot here, not to confuse these people, but this is a really nice spot if you just wanted to park and be in front of the water. I usually do come here and have my morning coffee sometimes. I'll drive over here and do that. And I'm just going to take you guys down a little further, give you an idea. So here I'm going to have to go fairly slow, and it's going to be very bumpy, so bear with me, because now we are straight up on dirt road. Well, not even dirt, it's just mud at this point. And as you can see, even on a pretty crappy day like today, you still have people coming here for their walks and, trying to enjoy and embrace it. do. Let's see. Ooh, super bumpy, but it definitely is. If you're a nature person, I highly recommend you come to Irving Nature Park. The nice thing about Irving Nature Park is you can either walk through or you can drive through it. And mainly I will walk. I'll bring my dogs over. I'll just park and then walk through it. It's about 5 kilometers long, so it's really not too bad at all. It can turn into, I believe, 6 or 7 if you go a bit of a longer route through the actual like forestry and stuff, if you're not on like the main path or the main trail. So here's my funny story. Yesterday, I just wanted to do a quick drive through here. I wanted to see if there was any fall, like nice fall colors yet. So right ahead here, I drove through. I stopped for a minute to take a nice photo, and I went down this hill here to leave, and the barrier was closed. So keep in mind, we do have hours. There are hours here that you are allowed to go through and not go through. And what had happened yesterday was I must have just missed the worker who was doing the last check of the place. And luckily when I came down to the exit and I was at the barrier, I saw the worker there and I waved him down, and he came and he opened the gate and he was like, "Where did you come from?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just drove in like maybe 2 minutes ago." And what had happened was I must have drove in maybe 2 minutes after he did, and I was just behind him, and he had no idea that there was someone behind him because he couldn't see me. So that would have been fun. Like he was literally 30 seconds from driving off. He was like, "You were so lucky," because I was about to drive off, and I would have been stuck in this nature park and with my dog. Like, luckily there is parking in the nature park, so I mean, worst case scenario, I could have left my car there, called a cab or something. But honestly, what I probably would have done is call 911, because in Ontario, I feel like a park like this would have like an emergency number. That I'm aware of. For this one, there is no emergency line. So it would be just calling 911. And then you can see all the stones here, right? And I have a pretty small car, so I would not be able to drive around the gate by any means. So I would have been stuck. Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming on this drive with me. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, if you'd like me to do any other video of a certain area, even if it's in the East Coast, not necessarily Saint John. I love to go for drives. So yeah, thank you so much for watching.